Hi, this is David Consumer. I just wanted to talk about MIDI in Ray poketrack. I added a little bit of MIDI features. It's not totally done. I think it works okay for now, but I'll probably add more stuff. So here's the basic idea. So a long time ago, I had a PC Junior, and it wasn't very powerful, but it had a Sound Blaster 16, and I could handle like maybe 4 or 5 tracks at a time usually. Um, and it had MIDI input on the Sound Blaster, and so I would use external equipment to like sometimes I would use it to play the computer so I could do like live stuff. Or I would use it to sequence other equipment. So I would like bring out like a synth and send MIDI to that, and then that I could get like extra sound that was like dynamic or whatever. So nowadays you don't really have to worry about that kind of stuff as much. Computers are a lot more powerful, and it's not really that big a deal. But um, I wanted to sort of include that in this tracker. So um, I added like basic MIDI input and output. Currently, it's like completely monophonic. Like it only plays one channel at a time. So if you play a note, you can't really play chords, right? But here's how I set it up. So I've got some instruments in here. And so this is the one that I was playing on the keyboard. And you can see I hooked it up here to my MK Mini, which is just like it's like an Akai, like a cheap USB MIDI keyboard. And then I have it set to only listen to channel 1. So if I change this, it won't listen to it anymore. Like I'm pressing it right now, and it doesn't listen to it. And that can be good if you have a bunch of stuff that you want to do on different channels. Like you on some MIDI keyboards, you can assign multiple channels. So it's like a way you could play like different instruments on the same keyboard like really easily. Um, so I've just got a basic oscillator and filter, and this is on instrument 0. And then on instrument 1, I have a simple drum. So if we go over to our song, there's nothing here. And if we go to our pattern, I've got like a little drum machine pattern. So if I play this and I press keys on the keyboard, it works. Now it's super basic. First of all, it doesn't really do anything based on the scale. So if I change this scale, it doesn't do any modification based on that. I might have it eventually, but I find that actually gets more confusing, like on a physical keyboard anyway. So maybe I won't. But the big one is that it only plays one at a time, which I think is a bit annoying. I need to figure out a good way to like limit it. Maybe if it was like 4 at a time, then you could do chords, but it still wouldn't be too heavy for like a small device. But I was trying to keep it kind of light. Um, there's probably stuff you could do to give it a fuller sound, but it's still not quite the same as a chorus, right? Or as a chord. For example, like if I did do a chorus on this instrument, it probably would sound fuller. It sounded a little bit more like maybe a little bit more like I'm playing chords. And you could kind of play with this stuff to get it to work, but it's pretty janky. I think for like sampled stuff, it'll work pretty good. Like if you're triggering drum loops or drum samples or something like that. But even then, you probably are gonna want like a few voices at a time. I'll work on that. But as it is right now, you can do MIDI input with basic sound. So that's the input part. And the output part works like this. So if you have an instrument, here I'll load up a software synth, Renoise. So I use Renoise a lot. It's just a basic tracker, but I'm going to load up a little acid bass in it. So that sounds like that. So I've got that loaded in another window that you can't see. Now in here, it creates a virtual MIDI output. So if I wanted to use this, I just have to go to my instruments, and I'll make a new instrument, and I'll go MIDI out, and I'll set my device to renoise MIDI in, and you can see it's set to channel. Now parameters are a little weird. The way parameters work, you can add a mapped CC message, which is basically like you only get eight parameters per instrument in Ray poketrack. And so this is how you can like pick which ones you want. Like you can pick different CC messages and you can send those. But for a lot of things, you probably won't even need it. So now this is MIDI out, and what that means is if I go over here to a pattern, I'll go to a new pattern, and I set my instrument to 2, which is the new one we just made, the MIDI one. Now it should send acid, output. Now you can hear I'm mixing, this is MIDI and this is built in, this is the oscillator. Now to get all these to be MIDI, I can just do that, and that works perfectly. So that's MIDI in, MIDI out. Again, it's really simple. It's just rudimentary. I'm kind of like working through some ideas right now, but that's the beginning of the ideas of MIDI. I think MIDI out will probably keep working the same way, but MIDI in, I think multiple inputs at a time, like chords, would be really useful. It just might get really heavy, for the processor. So that's the main thing I'm worried about. Anyway, have fun.